Hi, my name is Kim Brannon, AAF and CFD, and today I'm speaking with you from St. Louis, Missouri. Actually, I'm at home today because I'm working on wedding consultations and have just finished a wedding consultation via Zoom. Today, I'd like to talk to you about the way that I host consultations. I begin kind of differently, and I begin with the end in mind as we meet with our brides and our grooms. So no matter how a bride or a groom has contacted us, whether it's from the Knot or Wedding Wire, whether it's from our website, whether they've called us or sent us an email from a referral, which is a large portion of our business today, I send everyone to our website so they'll learn a little bit more about us, and they have to fill out a form called Request a Consultation. This form is pretty vague, but it does have some of the pertinent information: where, who, the date, how many bridesmaids, 3 words to describe their wedding day, which is a very important question, what their budget is. Hopefully they'll be attaching their Pinterest board. And then that email also contains information of typically when we host consultations. When they email us back with that completed form, so they've got a little bit of skin in the game, they've done a little bit of work, hopefully they're also sending us a time and date. We immediately check our calendar to make sure all of those are aligned. We review all the information that they've sent to us to make sure that this sounds like a wedding that we should meet on. And then we accept their time and date and send them back another email confirming that information. A couple of days before the consultation, we'll also call or send another email confirming the time that we're going to be getting together. Once they arrive at the shop, we're going to shake hands, do our welcome, and then offer a few refreshments, very simple refreshments, and then we get down to work. The worksheets come out, we have both of their forms sitting on the table, and we start to work. We kind of begin with the end in mind at this point. I can see how many bridesmaids you're going to have. I can see the words that you're using to describe your day. It's going to be monobotanical. It's going to be classic. It's going to be whites and it's going to be blacks. It sounds like a beautiful day. Your venues are amazing. Brooke is fantastic. We want them to feel very comfortable, A, that we've read all their information, and B, we're very, very comfortable with their venues. That's incredibly important to our brides and grooms. They want to have that level of professionalism. Then we move on, right? And we're going to talk specifically about the reception if they want reception flowers. 20 of anything is a lot. I can see from the information that you shared with us, you're going to have about 200 guests. And are you using the round tables at Silver Oak Chateau? Fantastic. So you're going to have approximately 20 tables. Okay, 20 of anything is a lot. This venue specifically benefits from having tall pieces. Would you like to have any tall pieces in your venue today? Well, yes, we'd love to have some tall pieces. Now, considering your budget and being very respectful of that, if you did 4 tall pieces, kind of flanking the dance floor and creating a really specific pattern, you're going to use about $1,000 of your budget. They start about $250, and you can show them an example at that point. They start about $250. So that leaves us 16 tables. If we did half of those tables in low full florals to complement the tall pieces, those start at about $100. So that's $800. And then the other 8 tables, if we would do those with candles and greens, and remember Silver Oak Chateau, you can only have LED candles, but there are LED floating candles. We're going to use about $50 a piece, so that's another $400. So right now we've spent $2,200 of your budget. Does that make sense? Fabulous. Now the good part about the tall pieces is we can actually repurpose those in your ceremony areas and then move them over to the reception if you would like. That gives us an opportunity to kind of share the expense. And then your head table, we can certainly do with all your bride and bridesmaids bouquets and add a little bit of greens to pull the whole thing together. And of course, a lot more candles. How does that sound? Yes, that sounds perfect. Okay, so let's move on then to your bouquets and your bodywork. Okay, so we already have established how the budget's going to be spread out, how the budget is going to be allocated. Everyone understands that. There's no surprises at that point, and everyone's agreed. So now we're specifically going to be looking at her pictures, the flowers that she would like to use, explain the cost factor as it relates to some blooms are more expensive than others. We have premium blooms. Some of your blooms will be out of season, so they're going to be a little bit more expensive. But I think the range of your bridal bouquet will be about here. I think your bridesmaids bouquets, they start at $95, $100. We should be about here. Boutonnieres start at $20, and you need 20 of them, so that's $400. Mom's corsages, dad's boutonnieres, flower girl petals, all of those things. Right now, we are basically right in your budget, even including setup and installation. Sales tax is another story. Of course, we have to charge sales tax on all of our products in Missouri. We don't have to charge it on labor, but we do have to charge it on products. But we're right there. What do you think? And they're thrilled. You've done your job. You've been a professional, consultative florist. You've gotten all of the things that they're looking for and the colors and flavors that they're looking for. And you've hit their budget because you began with the end in mind. So now I'm going to give them a few minutes to chat because I'm going to go out and I'm going to pull some flowers, any of the flowers that I have in stock. I'm going to bring all of those back in. If you don't have the flowers in stock, you can always use some great tools. This is a brand new book that I've been using recently, and it has all of the flowers by colors, the flower color guide, and of course all of those that still have the John Henry decks. This is an amazing tool. I hear someone's going to be reprinting this soon. But that way, if you don't have all the flowers, at least you can put out pictures of those flowers in conjunction with the fresh flowers that you do have. Now, while I was out of the room, they were chatting, and I come back in and we're laying everything out. I said, so, now what do you think? Is there anything that we need to change? And we start making modifications. We start talking about the fragrances. We start talking about how all of these flowers work together. We start talking about, again, budget. So if we'd like to make your bouquet a little bit bigger, that's going to increase the price. Bridesmaids bouquets are kind of set. They start at $100. If we want to make those a little bit larger, we certainly could. If we make them large enough, they could almost be doubled as centerpieces in the appropriate vase. But again, we really want to use those for the head table. You said you're doing a head table. So we keep repeating these same elements over and over and over again so that they get a very warm and cushy feeling that you know what you're doing. Now we're going to start talking about the day. We're going to talk about the labor involved in delivery and setup. If there's any gaps in time, what that time would cost. A lot of the time that's driven by the photographer wanting us there way too early because they want to do their flat lays, which I dearly love, but come by and pick up the flowers the day before, right? So we don't have to be there so incredibly early. We talk about how we interface with the venue. We talk about how we interface with the caterer. Again, we're thinking about all those steps that wind up in the end. We're beginning with the end in mind. If there's going to be a flip for some reason, whether we're already pre-planning that flip because it's midwinter, or whether we want to make sure we've covered all of our bases and that flip would be necessary if we have a bad weather day. So we're really thinking about all of those things that come up at the end. At this point, we can start to go through the terms and conditions of our specific contracts, make sure that there's any questions that we can answer. In our particular case, it's $750 to save the day. At our detail meeting, our next in-person meeting, where we're really going to be getting down to the brass tacks and making any last-minute changes, 50% of the total is due. And then the remaining 50% is due 30 days before the wedding. So you're going to be very clear. It's very clear. It's very concise, right? Now we're going to talk about the proposal is going to take us probably about a week to get together. It takes a couple of hours. In that proposal, we will have everything in there that we talked about today, all the quantities, all the names. We're going to give more of a very specific picture about what those bouquets are going to be, the flowers they're going to be using. We talk about the fact that we have to create a recipe for all of these items. That's how we come up with the very specific pricing. I talk about the fact that I think that the installation and delivery is going to be this price. I have to have that discussion with our logistics person to make sure that I'm on the correct page. All of that is going to be part of that of that final or the preliminary proposal and sales agreement. Then when we come together for our next meeting, we're going to go through this line by line by line by line and make any changes. By that time, you'll have some. We'll have a better idea of how many tabletops you'll have. By that meeting, I'll probably have a layout of the space and we can color code it so we're all on the same page of where everything is going to be that day. Do you have any questions? Is there anything that I can help you with? Any changes that you would like to see immediately? No, I think everything looks great. Okay, well, would you like to move ahead with the save the date? Absolutely. Those are the words I love to hear. Absolutely. And the credit card comes out. We sign a letter of intent. We set up our next time and date for our next meeting. We shake hands, we give hugs. Can't wait to work with you. It's going to be fantastic. So the next bride that you're going to have is the bride that says, gee, I just don't know. I've got to take all of this information with me. I've got to discuss it with the powers that be, and I'll be back in touch with you. And that's fair. That's okay. Typically, after she leaves, I'll go back to my computer. I'll do a really quick synopsis of our meeting, talk about the next steps. And then if I don't hear from her within 48 hours, I will give her a telephone call, not an email. I actually call and say, are there any questions that I can answer? Are there any changes that you think you would like to make immediately? It's a very simple phone call, and it gives you yet another touch, another connection to that bride or that groom. Hopefully we're signing there. So right now I'm typically at about 70 to 75% close rate. And then you're going to have that bride that says, you know what, there's some other people we want to talk to. And that's fair. And that's okay. Don't discount your price. Don't try to give her an option for a free thing if she signs up today. That's pressure. That's absolute pressure. Let her think about it. Let her talk to other people. In our market, we have some amazing florists. I want them to be happy, and I want them to have a very high level of confidence that they've selected us to help them with their vision and their mission for their wedding day. Again, my name is Kim Brannon. I begin with the end in mind from a very consultative selling perspective. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out with me. I appreciate your attention today, and I hope you have a wonderful day.